Welcome, angels. Welcome, sweet ones. Welcome, most delicious beings, to the Edible Spirit Hour. This is your weekly common space for all things delicious and divine, for the edible and the spiritual, where we discuss chakras as much as cheesecake. In all seriousness, we love to keep it light in all seriousness. But we like to split the difference here. And, as part of the Edible Spirit philosophy, the practice for which we do many readings, tarot readings, energy readings, aura picks, group readings, private readings, all that, we have a little philosophy, which is a 50-50 split. 100% effort put into your spiritual practice, no more than 50% of the time. Because the other 50%, you need to live your life and eat your cheesecake. It doesn't work for everybody, but it works for us here. I am your host, Michael Dimitrovich. I am hosting this show for you, with the Edible Spirit Collective, all of the spirits, ancestors, energies, and entities that are with myself and with you, to host a fucking talk show, okay? The first thing we have an amazing guest today. We have a very, very, very exciting guest who is a dear friend of ours, dear friend of the shows, dear friend of Edible Spirits, and our oldest art wife, maybe, art spouse, art partner, longtime collaborator. It's very exciting because we thought someone else was going to be on the show this week, didn't know who it was going to be, and I had all these other guests, and I was like, "Who's the guest? Who's the guest?" And I was like, "Is it Kimmy?" And the spirits were like, "Hallelujah, hallelujah, hurrah, hurrah!" So can't wait to see what happens tonight. What we always start the show with, to share with you, is what we like to call the F Me Update. That is a combination of the astrological current events as well as the recipes that we've been cooking and eating with you, for you during this week. Hi, Alex. Hi, Sue. Great to see you guys. Love you so much. Miss you always. It's a really, I don't know, we actually popped a rib or sprained an intercostal muscle or something. Gonna get it checked out tomorrow, but just a lot of whiplashy feelings, whiplashy vibes, whiplashy energies, lots of random injuries. If there's a common theme just from the general ethers this week, it seems to be something about the root chakra, about being embodied, about being grounded, about having the experiences that we're having from within the body. Maybe has to do with some of our last Capricorn vibes from the Capricorn new moon, which was on the 13th. But specifically speaking, by way of the F Me Update, we're going to share the astrology with you and then some of the snacks and recipes that we have for you. The next thing, I just want to make sure I know exactly when it is for you guys. Yeah. So we're coming up to a full moon this week. It's a full moon in Leo, which is on the 28th. That was what I was checking. So yeah, 25, 26, 27, 28. So that's Thursday. Full moon in Leo, y'all. It's very heart-based. It's very heart-centered. It's very expressive. It's very primal and yet primary, very subjective. So if it doesn't matter to you, you're going to have a hard time making it matter. Because it's like the full moon builds this crest, this huge peak of energy that is meant to balance out whatever intentions we set during the new moon on the 13th. So hopefully those intentions were about what you want to work on in this new Aquarian age, the projects that you have, the goals that you have, or just literally what you're doing with yourself, what you're doing with your time, what you're doing with your energy. The Leo full moon is the sort of build from all those intentions to then be like, how the fuck you doing? Are you having fun? Are you enjoying any of this? Do you feel okay? Do you feel good? You're allowed to feel good. You're allowed to feel happy. You're allowed to feel innocent. You're allowed to feel joy. And yet that's literally opposite all of the, interesting. So it's opposite Aquarius energy, this Leo full moon. But our last new moon was actually a Capricorn new moon. So we don't even have to explain the intensity of that, but we're just saying there is a heartfelt, heart-based, sincere, helplessly hoping, right? cur, right? Courage, courage, roaring, right? Primal screams, primal yells, just shouting because you like to hear the sound of your own voice, to sort of counteract all of the intense Capricorn energy. So that's how we're suggesting that you guys use this. I just wanted to check and see if there's anything else you need to know about this chart. Oh, P.S. On the 30th, ooh, it's a gnarly one, this chart. But on the 30th, it's Mercury retrograde. So Mercury retrograde starts on the 30th. Yes, all the things apply. Travel is annoying. It's annoying. Emails get fucked up. Technological connections are problematic. But also, Mercury is in the sign of Aquarius, and it's retrograding through Aquarius. So if you remember from a few weeks ago, all these planets have moved into Aquarius. Saturn, Jupiter, the sun is there, Mercury's there, Venus is not far behind. But Mercury is almost at the end of Aquarius, and yet it's going to spend more time and double back into Aquarius and then go forward again. What the fuck does this mean? Mercury is the planet of the mind and your thought process and your thought patterns in the sign of connectivity, innovation, futurism, and most importantly, how the fuck are we all going to get along, right? We have a ton of work to do. Everybody has a ton of work to do. But what about people that don't feel they have a ton of work to do? How are we going to get along with them? How are we going to come from that Aquarian place of everyone is my sibling? Aw, shout out to Colin's self and siblings. Wow. Beautiful artist that we've worked with, blessedly, magically. Colin Self just has an amazing album called Siblings. And it's very Aquarian in this respect because it's about a chosen family, right? That's about many things, but non-biological family, the chosen family and the family that we create. And so you can sort of look at this Aquarian era that we're in now. Maybe you've been hearing that as like Aquarian, or is it Aquarian or else? Like we kind of got to get along together. So the cool thing about Mercury is that Mercury will fuck with your head over the course of the next 3 weeks between the 30th and the like February 20th, somewhere thereabouts. So it will scramble your eggs and sort of make your thought process not what it was before. And I don't know though, I kind of need that. I need a freshie. I need to look at things with new eyes. And in a way, Mercury retrograde, even if it seems like it's causing problems, will be guiding you into sort of like what your role is or how you can participate in the scintillating, luminous networks of brotherly, sisterly, fraternal, love, okay, and connection and all being in it together, right? Altruism and connection. Let me just check my note to see full moon in Leo. Yeah, so we were talking about that whiplashy thing. We kind of suspected this so many like months and years of stuff in Capricorn, followed by Aquarius. The sun has been in Aquarius since like the 19th, 20th of January. And it goes from the dense to like hyperactive, super plotting and methodical Capricorn to space case, infinite connectivity Aquarius. So, we tend to have back spasms and neck spasms when we've been super stressed out about something and now it's over. Like anytime we've opened a play or debut something, it's like, not anytime, but that's when we tend to get it. It's like opening night happens and now there's been so much pressure that suddenly lifted and my neck goes, what? Twinge. I think that's what happened with this. So maybe notice where you felt that kind of like barometric pressure shift or like gravity lock, very spacey feelings of a little wince. Most likely that will have to do with the sign in which Aquarius falls for you. Sorry, not the sign, the house in which Aquarius falls for you. So whatever that house is for Aquarius is sort of where you're going to be learning a lot from Mercury retrograde and maybe unlearning a lot. Mercury going backwards, unlearning, unthinking, so causing problems so that then when you go forward around the 20th, you're like, oh, I've been through this. Oh, I thought through this. Oh, I've seen this. Oh, that makes sense. I know what to anticipate. But so what? The vibe is there's so much going on in Aquarius. It's like, so that I can participate in this vast network of humanity weaving together. It's not fun. It can be very toxic. I was in a clubhouse room earlier today about, empathic overload and picking stuff up. And, it's almost like if you're even a mildly conscious person right now, you're going to end up picking up a lot of shit, free radicals, pain, grief, joy, maybe from others in our collective, in our human family that maybe aren't processing these things, that aren't feeling these high highs or low lows, that are just like, maybe not processing these things. So wouldn't be weird if you're having any strange whiplash. My spirits were just like, check the YouTube. Have you guys had that? Has anybody felt that? Have you guys felt that at all? Like a weird whiplash? Pay attention to that. It's going to come back. It's more so if you just figure out where the imbalance has been for you, or what the pain that you're having, or what weird traumatic kind of barometric pressure shift, like, oh my God, I didn't even see it like that, or I wasn't experiencing it like that. Just notice that, because that's going to be your Aquarius stank, your Aquarius flavor. Okay. Anything else? Yeah, I think that's it. Full moon on the 28th. We're in Aquarius season, Mercury retrograde from January 30th to February 20th. We love all of that for us and for all of you. Let's just double, triple check. Okay, we're going to show you some food. Let's show you these pictures first. Okay, well, this one we were really proud of. This would be, let's hide the thumbnails. Let's hide the sidebar. This would be, we're going to share this with you, and here we go. So this would be the rhubarb pie that we made with an all butter pie crust. I think we got it from the Food Network. Our traditional New York crumb topping, which is half a cup of butter, 1 stick, half a cup of sugar, and 1 cup of flour mixed together, crumbled together. That makes that beautiful crumb topping. It's not super cute, but we liked it. It was a friend. This we wanted to share with you because it happened when we were kind of nauseous from lots of energy work that we were doing. And like we said, just all this energy that's been in the world. White jasmine rice, leftover, heated up in the microwave with like 2 tablespoons of water, sriracha, sweet chili sauce, and like a handful of fried garlic. Who the fuck needs that? Like, who needs to eat that? Well, I did. It was really, really good. And I put it on here because it's vegan. We love a plant-based, there's no plants in there aside from the garlic, but we love a plant-based meal. In that same vein, this is what we're the most excited to share with you. So this is a roasted carrot dip, zucchini scordalia, if there's any Greeks in the house, but we'll explain. And then the other one is this wild kind of like onion dip, eggplant onion dip that just blew our mind. And then in the middle is homemade frickin' pita bread. We'll come back to this in a second. I'm actually going to show you the homemade pita bread video. Okay, hang on. Let's see. Where is it? Oh my God, because they were just so sexy. This one. Okay, can you see it, you guys? Okay. Looking up like the rise on this pita bread. Oh dear. That one too. Looking. Okay. So those are the super sexy pita bread. Oh, did you see that? Oh no, maybe you didn't see that. This is the one I want. Things are looking up like the rise on these pita breads. Pita breads, pita breads, pita. They're so fucking just sexy. In case you didn't see, look at how fluffy. They're from this wonderful person that we found on Instagram called Pierce Abernathy. They make these amazing dips and this pita. Love their pita recipe. And okay, back to the dips, and then we'll bring Kimmy in. Back to the dips. So the dips we're talking about. So the carrot dip was super easy. Bag of carrots, not even cut into rounds, just like sort of longish sticks, and drizzled with olive oil, some whole cumin seed, and that was it. And then we ended up pureeing it with soy sauce, honey, and yeah, man, that was it. Wow, that was the simplest one. We wanted tahini, or we were going to put chickpeas in it, but we didn't. But the other ones are the stars of the show. Over here we have the zucchini scordaria. So this was roasted zucchini blended with leftover potatoes, a bunch of garlic, lemon juice, salt, and pepper. And then this one was roasted eggplant, scooped out. So roasted in like a 400-degree oven, just drizzled with olive oil, scooped out and blended with a handful of toasted pumpkin seeds, as well as a little tablespoonful of leftover vegan sour cream that I had to just make it a little creamier. And then a whole butt ton of caramelized onions with sweet vermouth added into them. So it was literally just roasted eggplant, caramelized onions, pumpkin seeds, and a little bit of sour cream. I think lemon, salt, pepper, and the like. But that was it. That was it. Okay, well, that's your F Me update. That's what we've been cooking and making. We had a bunch more stuff to show you, but we want to bring Kimmy into the house. I also just want to let you guys know, I see some of you in the Zoom room. I'm so glad you're here. Sit tight. In a little while, after we chat with Kimmy a little bit, we'll bring you in for some readings. If you guys have questions for Edible Spirit or questions for Kimmy. And if you guys are watching and you want to come into the Zoom room and get a reading, there's a little button at the ediblespirit.com/the hour. There's also a little link inside of our Instagram account bio at Edible Spirit. So check it all out. Love you guys so much. Let's bring in our buddy, our guest, our beloved. Here she comes. My friends.
Hello.
Hello, my friends.
How are you?
Good. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining. I'm so excited to have you here today.
I'm so excited to be here. This is my favorite show.
You are a longtime friend, and you've been with us since the beginning of the show, and we love you for this. So it was really exciting when we got, we consider you to be a very gifted healer. We've done healings on each other throughout our life. Kimmy and I met doing theater way back in the day. She and I produced a play of hers, which was awesome, that I got to direct, that we put on in a photography studio on 28th Street in Manhattan in what was it, like the year 2000?
Yeah.
We raised all the money for it. We produced it ourselves. So, and then we didn't see each other for a really long time, and then met again in front of a theater where we both had a show happening. Like yours was going out as mine was coming in, or I was coming out as you were going in?
I think yours was leaving, mine was coming.
That's right.
And our mutual friend had just passed away.
And he brought us together again. He didn't like a world in which we were not creating. And so, I have so many things that I could say to you and pull out of you, but I really actually just I asked you on the show because I was guided to, but also because I really do respect the way you work with all of your strengths and all of your challenges and the way you navigate a day. So really, I just wanted to know, human to human, heart to heart, family to family, how you doing? How are you healing? What are you doing to get through the day? What has been hard? What have you done to work through it and work with it? Just tell me what your self-care experience has been like.
Well, I just want to say first that I thank you so much for inviting me on, and thank you for doing this show. I've had such a great experience watching it, and it's led me to healers that I've worked with that have been life-changing. And I just think the fact that you're creating this forum for people to come together and have these conversations about healing is such a beautiful thing. And I've always thought you're such a gifted educator. And you've taught me so many things about how to ground and protect myself, not just in a metaphysical way, but just how to have better boundaries in my life and all of that. So I'm just such a big fan of what you're doing, and I'm just so honored to be a part of it. So thank you very much. And I think, this is a crazy time. I feel very lucky that I'm able to work from home. Me and my family were displaced for a while, and we were kind of couch surfing and hotel hopping for a few months, which was kind of crazy. We moved from Brooklyn to my hometown in Long Island, where I said I would never come back, and now I'm here living on the block. I used to rollerblade down, like playing chicken with cars, and now I'm like walking my baby carriage. It's really surreal and it's crazy. But I do feel really lucky. I have some people in my family who are working in the hospitals right now. And I've been working on a hotline for assault survivors throughout this process. And I've talked to a lot of kids during quarantine, way more than I've ever talked to in the 5 years I've been doing that work. So there are a lot of people who are really having a hard time right now. And I feel very lucky just to be safe and to have somewhere to go and somewhere to be. But I think that, with that being said, we do all have our challenges during this time. And for me, having to leave my home and not know where we're going to end up and everything while trying to work and raise my son and everything has been hard. And I guess the things that I've been doing that I've always kind of done, or I've learned to do as I've gotten older, and now I'm doing more that have been really helping, are meditating, cooking, finding a way to get farm fresh food, and celebrating the seasonality of food, finding new ways to kind of get into a zone place or a flow state where I'm not experiencing like a physical anxiety or getting too triggered, I guess, by everything that's happening. And I think we're all kind of experiencing that in our own way.
I want to call out something really quick. Let me just step in here because I think it's really important how diplomatically, Miss Libra, you introduced this for us too, that, you do some really intense work with survivors of abuse and assault, right? And I could imagine that would be really, really draining from time to time. But the way you just dropped it is like, whoa, kind of working in this space helps you to focus your attention on how safe you are and on the good things you have. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I definitely think that doing volunteer work in general is something that gives me perspective or makes me be less of like a whiny person, I guess, because I guess it's this work that I do, I come into contact with real evil.
Real evil. Wow.
Like people who hurt children or imprison people, or the domestic slavery of sexual slavery that happens, and America is maybe the worst place for it in the world, and it's not something that is widely known.
Right.
I've talked to people who are locked up in houses, and I'm on chat with them. So it's an amazing experience to be on the computer where you're just typing. You're both just typing, and they're on a phone or a computer. And they could really be anyone. And I think it's been an amazing experience for me to witness how we are all so similar in our needs, and how, safety is really, a sense of safety is really maybe the top need beyond like food or, basic survival is.
And in our practice, that's root chakra stuff, right? Securing securing home, shelter, food, toilet, hopefully, right? If you're very fucking blessed, but but I think what's super, what I especially love about how you're describing this is that, and yet we each still have the things that we're dealing with. And there's an awful lot of finger pointing about who has what worse, and how, and people shaming people for doing the wrong thing or saying the wrong thing, or, you know, we are all trying to survive, and we all are trying to be safe, and we all, and it's something that I've wondered over the years too, doing spiritual work, where it's like, who's to say that any one person's experience is any harder for them or easier for them than someone else? I came up doing psychic work in like a very privileged part of Orange County, where it would have been easy for me to judge the very privileged white ladies that I was taking psychic classes with. And, you know, a lot of them had the same stories or similar stories or whatever. So I could have very easily, but it was helpful there because a lot of these people were fighting for their life in a different way that is not necessarily about being locked in a room or physically abused, but who am I to say whether they feel like they're locked in a room or not? And who is anybody to say, you know, but I think the difference is if we do have some modicum of privilege and safety, a big part of our philosophy is use it to the best of your ability, but not so much that you burn out. So one of the questions I wanted to know, because you're describing this in working with in you know, this the counseling and the hotline, but I wonder, how do you detox, or how do you cleanse, or what do you do when you're done with a session?
Well, it's interesting because when I agree that we all experience trauma, or we all have the as equal ability to experience trauma. We all have triggers, and so many more people have experienced sexual abuse than we acknowledge. I think the statistics are something like 1 in 3 women and 1 in 6 men. So it's a lot of people, and so it is very prevalent. And I think even if that's not the form of abuse that you've experienced, I think everyone has been traumatized by something in their life. And I think during these triggering times, everyone's going to get triggered in some way. So a lot of what I do in my work on the hotline is help hold space for people to feel safe. And that's something that I think I now do in every interaction in my life. And that is with myself also. So I think it was when my son is 2 now, but I think it was when I was pregnant, which so it was like 3.5 years ago, that my partner and I were dealing with a lot of stress, and we started, theorizing that we had to be in like a constant state of prayer to get through it. And I think that I have some health issues that cause like adrenal problems and stuff. So I actually experience like physical anxiety, where I have like heart stuff and my blood pressure changes, my I have like a physical thing happening to me. And I can actually control that to a certain extent with my breathing or with my visualization or grounding techniques or whatever. So that's something that I do all day long. And with people that I work with who are trauma survivors, some days it's like one breath at a time. And you can't have any kind of expectation of like the completion of your healing. It's just showing up for this breath, showing up for this breath. And it's like, I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. And some days it's hundreds of times. And I think that that is something that I definitely live. I mean, I'm a narrative person. So my chakra clearing, grounding, and meditations and everything are kind of narrative. I go into like a VR space where I'm living in a different reality. But I think there are many techniques to use to be able to do that.
Well, it reminds me, I saw the movie that came out on Disney called Soul the other day, and there's this. Did you guys see it? Yeah, they go to the zone, and it's like the psychic meditation space is the same place that the musicians go to, and the same place you go to when you're in that flow state. So I love that. And I love the idea of holding that space for yourself and knowing, oh, and I was going to say to you, I never thought of it. A completed breath, regardless of the quality, is a complete healing.
Yeah.
Right? Because one of the standards that we use in healing, and when we're teaching people to do readings or healings, it's the idea that you can't expect a certain quality or degree of healing from someone. All you can maybe hope to do, maybe pie in the sky, is help a person to come into their heart, into a space of present subjective awareness. But sometimes even that's a tall order. So I always think the only thing one can actually hope for out of a healing is that something moves, something shifts, something changes, something. But I love that because that's what the breath does, right? And one of our favorite teachers who I will get on this show, Mary Nichols from
I love her so much.
You've got to come on. She taught a mantra ages ago, which some of the viewers may have seen before, but that is the mantra that's always sounding within your breath. Hum sa, sa, or so hum, so hum, so hum, which translates as I am that 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 I am that. So it's actually a level above and beyond safety and security. This is an affirmation of presence and connection, which can be too much for people. But it's like, if you have a little bit of presence to share, it just, what you're saying to me makes me think like, you don't need to give a person a fucking reading as long as you can be there with them and hold space for them to feel safe for even a moment.
Yeah. And I think, for me, that has, in my own practice, it's developed because I think when I started feeling more comfortable in my meditating or starting to see different things or whatever, I was so overwhelmed with creativity. I used to take this class with Sharon Salzberg at the Tibet's house.
Wow.
In 20 years ago.
Cool.
And I'm still a huge fan of hers. I love her so much.
Amazing.
And I used to be meditating, and then I would like get my notebook and I'd be writing like crazy. It was just like this huge download would come, and I could never sit in stillness because I would get just like overwhelming creativity would come. And I think that now, like, creativity flows for me in such a different place. Like it's more about getting to a neutral. It's more about balance and less about this, being on the high of it. And I think that I experience it in my body, and I forget where I learned this, so it may not be correct, but because I'm not a trained expert like you, but the first chakra is your safety and security, or your where you live, your existence. Second is your ability to experience pleasure, or that's a place where you feel guilt. And it's really amazing how with sexual assault survivors, it's like everyone feels guilt. It's the norm to feel guilt and self-blame instead of to feel wronged or vengeful. It's and I think there's such a, I think the Hollywood narrative of it is this one of like vengeance, or the way that like the Me Too movement is perceived by a lot of men, or people, maybe I shouldn't single out men, but just people in power, it's like this vengeful, coming from this vengeful place. And in my experience of working with survivors, it's really like enormous crippling guilt. So if you keep going up, and then in the solar plexus, it would be the feeling of shame, to overcome, and then in the heart, grief. And I think anyone who's experienced any kind of loss or endangerment or whatever is stuck somewhere in there and can't. So if you can have all the ideas in the world up here, but if you can't like connect in the center, in your heart, then it's none of it is real or lasting or something.
Well, I love that. And I to me, this is also the idea, two things, of the heart being the center of balance, right? And the space that actually wants that balance for you, is always trying to trend towards that balance, and also the heart as being the space that gives you somewhere to go to love all of these other parts of yourself that in shamanic soul retrieval, we describe them as like fragments that need to be recaptured and brought back in together. But I think heart center as the space of balance, but also the heart center as the space of fundamental inclusivity, right? You don't get cosmic consciousness because you become aware of the cosmos at the expense of everything else. You get cosmic consciousness because you could become aware of the cosmos inclusive of everything down to the littlest like dookie bubble, right? And its aroma ultimately, right? And to see God, it's one of our mutual friends went to Varanasi way back in the day where they cremate all the bodies in India and there's ashes everywhere and all this stuff. And it's like, you know, that's what that part of the cosmos, when you're like,
Hearing it all out.
And it was really funny too, because we're talking about the root chakra at various points. I was doing a session the other day that had a lot of root chakra stuff in it. And I started smelling flesh and just smelling like my BO and just like all this stuff. And it became a part of this experience. So just the idea of anything below the heart as somehow being excluded from the action of the heart. It feels excluded sometimes, or it might seem separate, but the heart has the ability to sort of gather that back up and love it from that place of, you know, empowered self, right? But if you don't have the safety, if you don't have the security, it becomes very hard to love those parts of yourself, because you kind of, when you're in survival mode, you kind of just need to leave everything as it is. I saw a documentary ages ago where it was this person interviewing people in literally Timbuktu, and they wanted to ask the translator, can you ask her if she's happy? And the translator was like, what? No, we're not asking this lady in a hut if she's happy. Like, she might be happy, but there's not actually any context for like, does it spark joy? Like, fuck you, dude. You know, like, so I'm just saying it's all relative, but it all needs to be embraced and it all needs to be loved. But we need that root chakra, second chakra, third chakra. We need to be able to be in that material and awake. Otherwise, we're just in space. We're not awake, we're dreaming, right?
And it's okay for that practice to be your only practice most days or for years, I think, because I look at it like I'm turning 40 this year. So it's a big year for me. But my whole life up until now, I feel like there was always that voice of like, better do it before you're 40, better do that before you're 40, you know? And now I'm just like, wait, like I could live another 40, 50, 60 years after this. Maybe, if the world is all okay. But I mean, you know, I never thought about that time in my life before.
No.
And it's like, so when it's really slow going with this stuff and the showing up for yourself and the just being in that one breath at a time place, and you're just so distracted, you can't even find neutral, or you can't get to a place of stillness, or you can't really meditate because you're just getting distraction. I feel like it's all pennies in the jar for later, because, you know, 40 years from now, when we're in our 80s, like I'd like to be chill by then. You know, like definitely. It might take me that long, but I'm like putting in my time now for later.
I love how Kimmy's saying this, and I want to say to all of you guys too, that it's a big edible spirit practice, is that living your best life is unreasonable and often exploitative. It's built on the backs of like late stage capitalism and white supremacy, the very concept of thriving. We can argue about this, DM me if you want to argue, but not you, Kimmy, I'm saying anybody else who's watching. But thriving is sort of fucked up. So we aspire to a constant state of general okayness, right? Constantly, generally fine, right? What I love about you, Kimmy, is you referred to this when you said this state of constant prayer, right? That you invoked right after you had your baby. it's such a beautiful intention because it gives you the permission and the space to take it one step at a time and to not rush and to seek gratitude.
Let go of expectation.
Right.
Because you stop living for the culmination of things. You stop living for the universe pellets,
Totally.
like
the echoes, right?
Yeah, it's like I can be a fishbowl and just be with my reflection.
But weirdly enough,
circle,
weirdly enough, when you slow down, because I've been experiencing, I honestly think this is why I pulled this muscle in my ribs. When you slow down and that aperture opens, that shows you the future and like a very steady pace into it, my body was actually like, whoa, like we gotta, and I've been saying it to the viewers for ages and in the horoscopes everywhere, like there's a long ass road in front of us. And I got super excited about like, cool, there's so much work to be done. But it's literally like it requires endurance and it requires a totally different approach than that thing that we had as kids that was like, why should I plan past fucking 30? I'm like, whatever. I never thought about it that way, but that is kind of root chakra survival mode. It's like, let me just keep going between my circumstances and my feelings and my actions and my circumstances, feelings, actions, 1, 2, 3, root, second, third, root, second, third.
Yeah.
And plenty of people make a whole life out of that, and don't ever, it doesn't occur to bring any kind of higher awareness to the table or a question of, am I okay? Can I do this more efficiently? Am I taken care of? Am I taking care of others? Like, why am I here? What's going on? All of that stuff is stuff that you can really only ask in your leisure time or when there's enough security and safety to ask some fucking abstract questions. Or you ask all of those abstract questions when you're disembodied and nobody's home. And you're like, what were my past lives? Like, who cares what your past lives were if you can't make dinner? If you can't show up and be in your body. So speaking of, I'm going to give you a little reading now, if you don't mind. We're going to call this snack time, but remind me. Oh, no, sorry. We're going to talk about this real quick. I think of you as an amazing cook. I've been healed by your food. We are going to talk about food in just a moment. But as we're sitting here talking, my spirits keep saying to me, Kimmy does serious light work. And if you want to talk to Kimmy about the light work that she's doing, you can talk to her about it. But my spirits are like, don't blow her up right now. Do not talk out of turn. Don't tell people what she's doing. Don't tell people how it rolls. I'm going to leave that to you to share. My spirits are saying to me, that part of your healing path is that you've become a tax preparer. Talk to me about this. When did it start? When did it occur to you? What's it like? How does it feel dealing with people's numbers? Like, catch me up.
Well, I was sort of taken in by this people who have been doing my taxes, and I've been being trained, and this is going to be my first tax season. It's the thing that I'm really excited about with it is that it's a way for me to have a day job where I get to meet lots of amazing people and have like intimate conversations with people about their lives and provide support for them in an area that is very, very stressful. And the company I'm working for specializes in self-employed people and a lot of artists. So hires people from the art world who understand that life style and that kind of business background. So yeah, it's a wonderful continuation of holding space, and it's just a different topic. I mean, understanding taxes is not an easy thing. It's something that's really big, and the famous joke is when you ask a tax person a question, the answer is always it depends. Because it does. There are a lot of different criteria for everything. So I'm definitely not an expert by any means yet, but I'm excited to have found another way to connect with people and serve artists and who I believe in and think are essential to our culture and our communities. So.
Well, let me ask you this question, because this is a theory we have. Do you identify as a clairvoyant?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it because I've been teaching oral reading for self-care and social justice on Sundays. We'll be bringing it back again probably in March, but we've been doing this every Sunday. And it's funny because it's just really interesting how scared people are of clairvoyance, how much they don't necessarily vibe with it. But then when they start rocking it, which you've done, I remember, I'll never forget when we were doing like a shielding exercises way back in the day. And you were like, Mikey, it's a pink diamond. I'm surrounded by pink. This is my diamond. I love my diamond. It's got this many facets on it.
I love my pink diamond.
It's this shine. It's got this sheen to it. It's all this stuff. So my point is that clairvoyants will usually think they're doing a bad job of the visualization, but then upon further inquiry, they realize there's like borderline, like psychotic detail in all of these little things. So I loved when you were sharing about that, how back in the day, you would feel this creative inspiration. You know, this other really good friend of mine who I'm also trying to get on the show, also like denial as a clairvoyance. And then she started leaning into it. She was like, oh, wait a minute. You mean others don't see this in freakish detail like this? It's like, I still don't. I'm still kind of grasping at straws. I've just learned to interpret my feelings as images. But here's my thing that I just wanted to share with you in case I've never told you before. 9 times out of 10, a clairvoyant is really good at numbers, but they're not necessarily good at numbers because they like math. They're good at assimilating large quantities of visual material, balance sheets, designs like schematics, where it's almost like if you don't know how to read it, it's hard to read. But if you learn how to read it, you can end up processing this stuff really, really rapidly. Does that resonate with you?
I love math. I was a mathlete when I was in high school or high school, and I just cleaned out my mom's attic recently and found all these like pictures of me in the paper as a mathlete, and I was still I was proud. I wanted to show my coworkers and be like, I used to be really good at math. You know, now I'm my brain doesn't work the same way as it did when I was young.
So, go ahead.
No, I just want to make sure, just because you're talking about my clairvoyance and I had this vision today, that I want to make sure.
Oh, we're going to talk about it. We're going to it next.
Don't forget, because I'll get in trouble.
I won't. I have it here. No, all I was just trying to say here is pay attention to, oh, I wonder if this is your snack. If Kimmy was a snack, what would they be? I love it. It's, if you were a snack, you would be these like freakishly lacquered chicken wings. Okay. I see this like little, it's a small plate. It's from like a very fancy kind of dim sum restaurant. It's like glazed, lacquered. It's almost, they're like Peking duck chicken wings.
Like Momofuku.
100%. And my sense here, is this the read? Yeah. My sense here is to never forget, I think this applies to work, to life, to love, to art, to never forget that you are rocking very high-end, fine dining, behind the scenes preparation, even if the snack is very humble and easily accessible, right?
Thank you. That's very sweet.
You're serving something, and that it's supposed to be this way, that you're supposed to be like, it's just a chicken wing, and then let a person eat that chicken wing and gag from it. So there's a little bit of downplaying, you know, the majesty, but I think it's important to remember that it's still majestic, and that all the work that you're doing and all the love that comes to the table is very, very important. And what I would just say here in terms of guidance is just remember that your prep work is everything. That you should always remember to take the time that you need when doing your prep, and then don't worry about performance anxiety. Don't worry about how it's going to come together. And it's funny because my spirits are now being like, you know this about her. You always have a pickle in the fridge, or a spread in the fridge, or something in the fridge.
I have jalapeno pickles right now.
Perfect. So the vibe here is, I think, just to apply this same principle to the rest of your existence, to kind of always be prepping something, especially if you don't know where it's headed or where it's going. And then I'm also getting a sense of like what feels like a much bigger kind of creative work project, which is, I think you want to go with it with all of the prep work behind you, but then lead with the most simple descriptions so that it would be like whatever you're writing about or whatever you're talking about or whatever you're creating, be like, this is about a girl who does some stuff and then dies. And that's your liner note. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Very, very deceptively humble and simple. Okay.
It's very, very astute, as always.
Good. Wonderful. So that's your read. And then all I was going to say to you about the other stuff is just make sure that as you're doing your work now, you do use your calculator and check your T's and dot your I's. But if you're looking for problems or deductions, remember that the third eye sees better than the right or the left eye. So don't, and I always, for everybody that's listening, your gifts open up so that you can do your service while also living your damn life and working smarter and not harder. So I think there's like a new math coming through you, which would be to use your clairvoyance and your visual sense, not to do the actual adding up of things, but to do the backing up of things and to be like, you're not telling me about something. You need to tell me about something. Where are you hiding such and such money? You know, like whatever it is. So
we'll see. I could see that happening.
But you see what I mean, where it's about stuff that, yeah, you got it. Okay, so that's your read.
Thank you.
Let's just, okay, so we have a bunch of people waiting for readings. What I want to do is just to honor your spirits. I want to share this image that you showed me today and just let you have the floor to tell us what you need to tell us about why we are looking at this today. I hope everyone can see it.
This is, do you have can you zoom in or do you have the zoomed in one?
Oh, the zoomed in, the illustrated one?
Yeah, it might be easier to see it on that one.
I can do it very easily, but tell us about the moment, about the mood.
Explaining. So I don't leave the house a lot now, but I am living near the ocean and I try at least once a week, if not more, to at least drive by the ocean, if not actually get out and walk on the sand. And one of my favorite things to do is to see the sunset. And I was guided to accept the invitation to come on the show, even though I didn't know what I was going to talk about, or I was sort of surprised to be asked. But I was guided to say yes right away. And then I was guided that I was going to have a message to deliver. And I also thought that was kind of stressful because I didn't know what it was. And I didn't want to put my own ego perspective or filter on it or whatever. So this is like at, I don't know, 6 p.m. or 5:30 p.m. when the sun was setting today. I was in the car with my family driving by the ocean, watching the sunset. And then I saw this and I realized what the message was. So what I see here in the sky is a dove on the left. And it's a little difficult to see on Zoom that it's kind of blurry, but you can see there that little friend was really beautifully colored in and really resembled a bird to me. And then on the right, we have this smudgy figure that is a dead ringer from the Indian goddess Kali, right? I mean, everyone can see much more than a smudge. So, and they seem to be on like a balance beam together. There's this kind of horizon line below them that is connecting them. And the message of that, I interpreted as hope on the left and destruction, and a new age, a new world, a new beginning on the right. And this idea that's floating around, you know, because of the new president and everything, of unity this week, and the idea of balance that we've been talking about, and how this balance beam has to sort of level out to get to this neutral place, or to even out. You know, we can have hope, but we have to actually destroy the bad, evil influences and the negative aspects of the danger that's encroaching on us, in order for the hope to rise. You know, that we have to level it out. So I think that that's just something to be empowered by, to keep in mind that it's all well and good to like hope that we're going to combat the virus now, but we also still have to destroy the virus in order to, you know, get to the next phase of health. And it's the same thing with the danger of white supremacy and of hatred and hate crimes. We have to destroy that energy. We can't just hope that it's going to go away, or that we can't just love it away. I think more love is definitely the way to get through the day, but we do also have to organize to destroy that negativity. So that felt very clear for me in that image. I hope everyone.
I think it's really important on a couple levels, which is just to remember that, well, you saw this. This was a message for you. You felt great. Here you are. So the message is delivered, and I'm very grateful for it.
Thank you.
I want to reflect as well that you know, that part of the reason that we've gotten into this mess, especially in America, but especially also all over the world as a result of America, is unfettered growth with no end. And this principle that as long as we fuck with the numbers on the stock market, we can just keep growing forever and ever and ever and ever. Literally the definition of cancer, right? Not the sign, the excessive growth in our body, right? Trying to bring attention to whatever it is that we need to deal with or work on in our lives. So I think it's what I do just want to say for people. There are some people that will probably just want to love, right? And do more love, but just be careful, because love has like a Jupiterian influence. So it is possible to love something or someone unconditionally and like not call out a destructive habit or not say something that's going on. And yet, if we are participating in social justice work, right, the balancing of the scales, then we may have to take it upon ourselves, or we should be open to destroying constructs willingly, because Pluto is also, you know, it's going to leave Capricorn soon, you know, and it's like Pluto moving through Capricorn is destroying all of our societal structures. When it goes into Aquarius, it's literally going to like blow up our minds and blow up the internet and cause all these other things to evolve. So I love what you're saying is there is also, it's the Tower card in the tarot, which is that like you can't get to the sun in the 19th card without going through the Tower in the 16th card and you know, going through the moon, right? There's periodicity, there's cycles of natural time that have to be lived through. So I just wanted to reflect that and reframe that.
And also the idea of Kali is not just destruction, it's birth. Right. So I believe this is an amazing dawn of a new era, and that I've been waiting for my whole life. And I'm so excited to be a part of it. And I believe we can create the world that we see and that we want to be a part of for ourselves and for our children. I believe in that fully, and I want to create it.
Same. And I think there's even though something about like, if you're a basically loving person, ask yourself what constructs you would like to destroy, like Kali eating a skull and shitting it out, like shitting out a new universe, you know? And so to just not be afraid of that destructive impulse when that destruction is motivated by love and this kind of Aquarian altruism.
And balance and creating order, you know?
I love that. I receive it. I hear it. So blessedly, we're at 9. I want to call in a couple of these people. Are you okay to go a few more minutes?
Yeah, I'm good.
Blessings. Okay, great. So I want to welcome in some folks here. So that was our little snack time. That was our little moment. This is our moment that's called 1-900 Delish, where we welcome in our friends and lovers. Kimmy, you choose. Shall we go from the bottom up or the top down? I don't know who came in.
I think, well, would top down be waiting the longest?
I don't know. That's what I can't tell. So I was just like, let's figure it out.
I'm thinking top.
Blessings. Thank you. Okay, so we're bringing in Ilham. Welcome. Hi.
It took me so long to realize that that's what you meant, because Ilham is my sister, and I'm using her laptop. My name is Iman.
Perfect. Hi, Iman. Welcome.
Hi. I just wanted to say that, Kimberly, everything about you and your presence and everything that you said in this entire conversation gave me like actual life. Like I accessed like more aliveness in myself and in the world from you being here and just getting to like sit outside and watch the world get dark while witnessing this. And I'm really, really grateful for you and what just happened.
Oh, thank you so much, sweetheart. You're so beautiful. Now I'm crying.
So that was the Edible Spirit Hour. We'll see all you guys next week. Thank you for joining us. Literally, Iman, this is why we're here. This is why we're doing this, because when great beings get up and share their fucking vulnerability, it's very healing for all of us, you know.
And that really truly was that. I want you to know how much that mattered.
Any questions, or do you want a reading, or how you feeling? What's up?
Oh, I would love a reading. I, as usual, don't know how to phrase any questions because I'm such a confused person, but I basically need to wake up perpetually, like always. I feel like it's the work of my life.
Don't you worry.
But I really, in this moment, need some help waking up.
I got you, Angel. I got you. I'm seeing something, and then I'm going to draw. Is it okay if I go first, Kimmy, and then see if you have anything to add? Okay, great. I'm just seeing, because this is the Edible Spirit Hour, I'm working with snacks, and the spirits are working with snacks. And they're giving a very specific image, which is breast milk that's made into like delicious flavored whipped cream. Okay. I don't even know if that's possible, but I'm seeing you literally pouring out mother's milk and turning it into whipped cream. Okay. Now, the message as it stands is, don't worry about waking up. Go in. Listen to your heart. Listen to your pussy, honestly, to your second chakra. What feels good? What do I love? What tastes good to me? What brings me pleasure? What brings me joy? And that's just for your own input. But then, what do I love so much that I would be willing to squeeze the milk out of my titty or cut my titty off and give it away in service and honor and love of this, okay? But we're not even done there. You still get to keep your titty, you still get to keep your milk. But when possible, you have to make frothy deliciousness out of the things that care and matter to you the most deeply, the things that turn you on. This is very Edible Spirit philosophy. How in the hell are you going to fight the fight for the rest of your life if you don't enjoy it or care so much that you're willing to work with the other areas of your life to rally yourself behind a purpose? Is the very heavy, annoying way of saying it. But to rally yourself behind the flavor of breast milk whipped cream that you most desire to create, to feed the children and nurture the world. So in all seriousness, it's like, you got to give something to the people who need it around you. It could be as simple as, I don't know what your education is or what's going on, but it could be as simple as learn to be a kindergarten teacher so that you can connect with fucking 8 children every day. Right? Super simple, super easy, but it literally doesn't matter what it is or where it goes. You have to feel it and care about it. And if you don't feel it and you don't care about it, put it away and move on. And then the other side of it is, you may have to reopen yourself to things that you take for granted in your life as just a presence that's there, something that's there, and really go, how do I feel about it? Do I care about this? Because that'll help you to know what you throw in your rucksack before you go to, titty milk whipped cream school or whatever it is.
Yeah. Thank you. Oh my gosh.
It's from me to you. Anything to add, Kimmy, or anything you got from this, or any hits you're getting?
I would just add quickly that, a bite-sized amount is enough. You don't have to jump off the cliff if this isn't the moment for that. It's okay to just take a bite and try it. See if you like it.
And 100%, and that is in our practice, that's the relationship between the second chakra and the fourth chakra, the sacral center and the heart center. If you don't dip your toe in, if you don't taste a little nibble, how do you know if you really care? You have to explore your desires, or literally in the case of this, what feels good to you, so that you're not just trying to come out of your shell, or as Kimmy's saying, like jump or leap or something. It's literally like, I'm seeing like Hansel and Gretel crumbs. You know, like you come out of the house and you leave some crumbs and then you go back in, and you come out and you go back in. But then eventually you go farther and farther and farther, and you're like, wow, I care so much about this thing that I'm feeling and this stuff that I'm doing and this love that I'm sharing, that I want to just keep going. I don't want to go home. I want to keep going. And then eventually you're like, okay, I'm tired, I gotta go home. And then you rest, and then you're like, cool, I'm gonna hop a plane and go as far as I went before. You know, so it's incremental. So don't be afraid of trying some things before committing to some things, okay?
And if it makes you happy, it'll be easy and fun. So if it doesn't feel happy, that it's not the right thing, maybe, you know, and that's okay.
I appreciate both of you and that so much. I go into my last week of a substitute PE teacher job for like 1st through 8th graders, so that's pretty insane.
On the nose again.
For like a month. But
you're gonna do great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Well done, you. Honor yourself, honor your experience, because it's beautiful. All right, we're gonna send you back in. We'll bring someone else. Bye, baby. Bye, Angel. Okay. Let's bring in Sabrina.
The tears.
We got the flow going. We're juicy and dripping. Okay, we're bringing in Sabrina. Hi, Sabrina.
Oh, wow. Hi.
Hi, welcome.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can't see you, but we can hear you.
Hi. Yeah, sorry. It's just really dark in here, so I'll just leave it off if that's okay.
You're fine.
Thank you for first-time caller here. It's so exciting.
Questions, comments, anything you want to ask or anything you want to get to? Just open to getting read.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I think this is coming out of 2 different speakers at the same time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Hey. Say hi to oops. Want to see back. Say Kimmy, because she's gonna be meeting you and hearing her retreat. Hang
on, you're jumping a little bit. Hold on. Okay, can we hear you now? Hello?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now we hear you.
This should still work. I just changed speakers so that we won't get as much feedback.
Brilliant.
So sorry. Thanks for bearing with me.
Solid.
Hi, Kimmy. This is so lovely. So yeah, again, thank you for having me on. This is so exciting. Everything she touches is magical. So, and you are no exception. So yeah, I guess I had some questions and general questions about home and where next and what next. I think that probably speaks to everyone's bigger questions these days.
Sure.
Word.
Well, Kimmy, you go ahead. I'm going to pull some cards for you, actually. But is there anything you got or anything you want to share or offer here? Anything you're seeing or sensing or getting?
I was going to pull a card too.
Brilliant. So I'll do mine. You do yours. In terms of home, where are we? What to embrace? What to let go of? Okay, so I pulled 3 cards for you from the Marcella Kroll Sacred Symbol Oracle deck. In terms of where you are is boundaries. What to embrace is the Vesica Pisces, and what to let go of is fire. So what this tells me is that you definitely don't want to expose yourself or transform or transition or move before it's really time. You want to go from a secure space to a secure space. What I would say about that is don't worry about what happens in between the 2 things. But the real thing I think I have to offer here is what to embrace. Vesica Pisces, it is the 3rd eye. It's the eye of God, right? It implies that you've seen something that is an aha, that's a flash. So this low-key tells me that you either have a sense of the direction you want to go in, or you've literally seen the place that you would like to go. And then the final thing is this fire thing, what to let go of and not lean into so much, is just the rumble in your tummy that's like, I gotta go now, 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 So I would think, let go of that. Embrace that you know where you're headed, and don't censor the vision, however extreme it might be, but then be very impeccable about the boundaries of where you are and where you're headed. And it almost has the feeling of like airlock to airlock. you know, so that so I don't think there should be any guesswork around this. I feel like if it's not lined up in like an itemized checklist, then just sit tight and chill. Okay. Kimberly, what do you got?
Well, I'm using the Caroline Meese cards that you gave me.
Love those.
Michael. And this is the archetype, the saboteur. So it highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. So I would say it's all within you, my love. Don't be afraid. You got it. You already got it.
Oh my God, it's like the Kimmy crisis hotline for my soul. Thank you both. That was spot on, Michael.
Sometimes, Sabrina, when you see the thing, this happens to clairvoyants. You're talking to a very powerful clairvoyant in Kimmy. Sometimes when you see the thing, it's the most horrifying thing in the world. It's one of the curses of clairvoyance is you see it and you can't unsee it. And so you end up spending all this energy trying to unsee what you've seen, because now that you've seen it, you have to act in order to kind of keep up with the vision. Okay. So, but I agree with Kimmy, like and that fire one, it's like no pressure, don't fire too hard, too fast, take it easy and proceed organically. Okay.
Thank you both so much for this. That's a great way to end the week. Thank you.
Yay. Thank you. Okay. We have time for one more. And let's bring in Christine. Hi, Christine. Hi. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi there. How exciting.
Hi.
Do you have
Kimmy.
a question?
How are you?
Gimme.
Fun.
I miss you so much, Kimmy.
I know. I love you.
Aww.
I love your backdrop.
I put it on because it's like the chef show. So I honestly, I was like, are they going to ask me my...
Well, do you have a question?
I wasn't
today?
sure if you were going to ask like the most recent... Am I doing something wrong with the audio? Like it's like, okay.
No, you might have the YouTube page opened up. So you might have to mute the YouTube page or turn the YouTube page down and just
okay. Mute the YouTube.
Yeah, or just close the window as you wish. Turn the volume up. Better? Hello? Yes. Yay!
Make it work.
All right, hold on. Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, no, we're fine over here. So it's just, this is for your peace of mind.
Okay.
Any question or anything that you want to ask before we wrap up tonight? Anything you want to get at, or you just open to get what comes?
I hate this. I'm still getting like reverb, but like I feel like I'd like to ask sort of, I feel a very strong intuitive force with this project, and my soul still feels strong, but I'm looking for a place to like plant my flag.
What I'm getting from this right away is Kimmy's read actually about hope and destruction, and that the two things need to go hand in hand. And I'm feeling like something's either got to be either something else that's not the project that you're talking about has to be like killed altogether, destroyed altogether, or something really big has to be pruned from the project you're working on. So let's say you were writing a novel that was like erotic fan fiction, you know, like animal fantasy. It would be like, let's just make it a fan fiction animal fantasy or an erotic animal fantasy. That's insane. But but the point is like whatever the to me, it feels like something needs to almost be like exercised either from your life or from the project in order to make the growth of this thing just so much more effortless and easy and expansive and just like it unfolds because something has been purified from it. Okay.
Right. I feel that. I feel like maybe my immediate response, initial response would be expectation to be purged from the project, which is myself and myself as a mother, single mother to a 12-year-old. And to purge that would give me a lot of freedom to make many decisions that I need to make. And
great. Anything else you got to add, Kimmy?
I am lonely. And I've been super lonely for probably 20 years. I was in an abusive relationship and it ended 10 years ago, but I still have to navigate this situation because we have a child together. So I would like to know, I don't know what.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel it's so open in the space. Anything you have to say here, Kimmy?
I would say, when you really find bliss in something you're doing, it's like nothing can touch you. You're untouchable, like you're like larger than life. And I think that in order to get there, sometimes you have to let go of parts of yourself that you have been trained to be, that you have practiced being. And I think especially being a mother, it's very hard to live for yourself and get to that place of bliss that's yours and that's nobody else's but yours. And I think you can be still a great mother. I think you can be even a better mother by being someone that like that, because your kid will be like, I want to be like that too, because it's okay. And I think it's about forgiving yourself and letting yourself really let it go, like just really let it be behind you. And it's just not part of this moment. And then what am I putting in this moment? That's like direct line, Acela Express to the bliss. Do you know what I mean? It's like, there's nothing else there. It's like, I'm on the fast train to bliss and not, like, I'm just not messing with that anymore. Even if I have to deal with it, I'm dealing with it with the most boundaries, with the most support, with the most, self-protection that I can. And I'm not making any compromises because I'm on the schedule. I got to get on my train to bliss and I'm showing up for that. And the more you practice making that choice of I'm not available for this, I'm here, then it will start to feel less guilt-ridden or scary, and you're a great mom. You don't have to worry. So
I got
Thank
one
you,
card.
Kimmy.
I got one card to share with you here, which I think is really interesting, which is transmute.
Oh, I'm a snake.
And it's transmute and it's reversed. And what's interesting about this is it says some things can't be worked with and some things have to be moved on from in what Kimmy's saying, which is like a boundary. Because if you don't have a boundary, then you don't know how to keep your space clear, right? And I'm not saying you don't have a boundary. I'm saying if one doesn't have a line, then one doesn't know if something has crossed that line. And I think you actually know how to draw boundaries, But what transmute upside down tells me is that there's a part of you that wants to keep working with and wants to keep healing and wants to keep changing, and to some extent, like, just won't stop processing, right? Like, just can't stop massaging the light out of the shit. And it's like, sometimes, like, sure, there's more light in the shit, but you're covered in shit, you know?
Sure.
So, like, how do you put the shit down and walk away? That's why I love, Kimmy puts it so beautifully, it's a bliss train. It's like, you got to keep going. You got to go to where you're going. But I like that this transmute card just says, like, sometimes you just got to put the shit down and walk away from it and just not try to work with it anymore.
You
know,
deserve to, and you're worth it.
Thank you, Kimmy. And like, I completely understand what you're saying. It's like a hot brick. It's like, throw it away. It's like,
that's it.
I'm done with it. And like, I am done with it. I just like, I think my soul, my spirit is just like trying to find the place to raise my daughter for the next like 5 years before she goes to college. And I'm searching for that like geographical space, and I don't know what it is.
But all the geographical spaces in the world are not going to be worth anything if you're still transmuting shit. You see what I mean? So I think this is just a case where you go to yourself first, you deal with yourself first, you get oriented, you trim away what you can, you cleanse what you don't need, you know, give yourself a freshie, is how one of my friends say it. Allow yourself to begin again, to start anew, and to even just approach things with that, because that will even let you redefine undesirable relationships that are driving you crazy and wasting your time. It's like, but you don't have anything else to transmute outside of yourself in this capacity. It's all inner stuff now, which I don't even think is going to be that hard for you. It's literally just like refresh, update, reboot.
It is. It's totally refresh, update.
So just
remind myself every fucking minute to like put what I know is right in my heart first. And like it's a huge project. And it's every day, and it's worth it.
But it's worth it. It's exhausting, but it's worth it.
It's exhausting. It's so worth it.
Let yourself come to it from a place of ease. Rewind. It's a brain hack. It's exhausting, and you feel the exhaustion, so you're living in the habit of being exhausted. But if you replace that feeling with its ease, I'm in ease. All of life comes to me with ease. Life is ease. This is ease.
It's my choice.
You can inspire your brain to feel that if you give yourself a chance. It's not quick maybe, but it will start to feel better. And I think the minute that you get out of the bad cycle of thoughts, they come to you. And I think you're going to know by June.
No, by what?
By June.
I love you, Kimmy.
That's amazing.
I think June is right too. I felt June was like exactly right for me as well.
But you have to do the work of reprogramming this bad thinking.
And that is a read. And we love you. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for being here tonight, Christine. We'll see you again. Have a great night.
Thank you.
All right. Lots of love. And then, my dear friend, we are well over our allotted time, but I feel great about that. I just want to check in with you real quick. What is giving you yumminess? What is serving you deliciousness? What's happening on the earth plane this week for you that is making you feel positively divine?
I'm just realizing that I meant to bring a prop and I forgot it, but we're over, so I'm not going to go get it. I love my bathtub. I love my Epsom salts. I love my essential oils, and I love my bath mattress. That's right. I have a giant mattress that fits into my bathtub. I get on it. I make it real steamy. It's not quite like being with you at the baths, but it is the next best thing for home times. And I get it really hot, and I put my feet in where I'm like burning myself, and I like convince it's my, spiritual practice to convince my body that it can actually go in the hot water.
That it can do
but
it.
Once I get in there and it's really salty and it's high magnesium content is good for winter supplements. So I say take a bath.
I'm on it. I actually have magnesium salts coming in the mail. I can't wait. I'm going to use it for this. And accordingly, we're such old fogies here. Mine is Salonpas this week.
Ooh.
They make these pads, which I also wanted. Oh, here, it's a pad. So it's a pad that I've been able to put right on top of my rib. It has lidocaine, which is like burn cream, basically.
Yeah.
But it really helps with the inflammation, and it's been essential in getting my body to calm down and stuff. But magnesium salts are on their way, honey. So
I hope you're getting some Reiki from your loved ones.
I am indeed. And it was truth. I got some Reiki the other day and it hurt like a bitch because it opened the stuff up in such a way energetically that made me able to feel the physical pain without bracing against it and kind of cramping against it. So it was really helpful.
Well, I hope you feel better soon.
Thank you, my darling. And thanks to all of you guys for tuning in this week. We love you just so very much. And we are going to play ourselves out here. So thank you for tuning in. This has been the Edible Spirit Hour with your host, Edible Spirit, and the delicious Kimberly Powell. You can email or DM Kimmy if you want to talk about taxes or anything else along the lines. We're not giving an official plug, but if you are like, this is my tax person, please call her. Get on that. Thank you so much for being here, my friend. I love you very much, and we'll see you guys next week. Edible Spirit Hour. Bye, buddies.
Love you.